Hey guys, hope you're having an amazing day today. My name is Steve. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to Crossness Pumping Station, London's Victoria sewage system. You know, I've been told by quite a few people in the comments that I need to check out the sewers of the UK and the sewage system in general of London specifically, but I think the UK all over because the history of it is just very interesting, supposedly. And I just generally like this sort of thing. I know a lot of people are like, why would you check out a sewer? Because it's interesting, you know, the engineering behind it, especially in the Victorian era, and just the design and just, you know, just all the history and whatnot behind this sort of thing is just so interesting to me. I just like, you know, looking into these mega projects, if you will, and just learning about the history and how they did things, you know, back in the day, so to speak. So I came across this particular video and the thumbnail grabbed my attention. I'm like looking at this and it looks so beautiful that it's hard to believe that it has anything to do with a sewage system. You know, I mean, it's amazing. You can see this just in this start of this video right here, that it's just, wow, the design work. Obviously, you can tell this was during the Victorian era because they just put so much effort into the design of everything, and it's really amazing. You know, like look at this. Who in the world, if you saw this and you had no idea where you were, you would literally not think you were, you know, dealing with some sort of a sewage system or a pumping station for sewage. That's just not what this looks like to me. But anyways, guys, I love this sort of thing. I think this is going to be very interesting. But before we get started, guys, I don't know about where you're at, but it has finally hit winter here. I mean, it went from summer to winter, like just like boom, just like that. And it was just hot and sunny just a few days ago, and now it's freezing. So I pulled out my trusty beanie or toboggan, whatever you want to call it, and I'm so excited. I do like this time of year. I like the way wearing one of these hats on my head feels. I like wearing the comfortable long sleeve shirts and stuff like that. It's just a nice change from the hot, you know, brutal heat of summer. But unfortunately up here, I do not have central heat. This house was built in the 40s, and so they didn't put central heat and air into the houses at that time, obviously. But we have central heat and air downstairs, but where I'm at up here, I have to use a space heater of sorts. I got it over here, but unfortunately, it's a little bit loud, so when I'm making videos, I can't really run it. I might try that at some point and see if you guys can actually hear me good when I have that thing on. It would probably be a little more comfortable, but I try to heat it up in here before I get started with a video, so it is warm. It usually lasts a little while, but anyways, guys, that's not really what this video is about. I just thought I'd mention that it is beanie season. Woohoo! I love it. But anyways, guys, let's go ahead and jump into this video and check out the Crossness Pumping Station, London's Victoria sewage system. Wow.
It feels as though the building's alive.
It's equivalent to walking into a cathedral or any great building.
We're standing now
Wow.
in the engine house of Crossness Pumping Station.
Dude.
And the pumping station was part of the first sewer system ever built for London.
This was the first sewer system ever built for London. Wow. And look at the ornate design of this place. It's beautiful. The outside is a nice looking building. You know, don't get me wrong. The outside is cool, but the inside just has so much intricate detail on these walls and whatnot. It's absolutely amazing, guys. Wow.
In the 1700s,
Such a cool place.
1800s, a rapidly growing city, population of London in 1800 about 1 million, just over, and by 1900 a population of 6 million. An added problem was caused by the invention of the flushing water closet. Problem was
Flushing water closet. I've never heard of that. Obviously, I understand what that means. It's a toilet or a toilet room, I guess. Interesting. So let's see, for a valve closet with full-size basin, trapped above floor level with after flush. Patent waste not valve, which closes of itself, can be fit to this closet. So this was like the first flushable toilet. Is that what I'm getting here? I guess so. And so These were in London. The first flushable toilets were in London? That's cool. All right. I wonder what year that was. He said around the 1800s, right? Early 1800s, I'm guessing. Let me know if you know when this actually was invented exactly.
There was nowhere for the waste to go. The addition of the water closet and flushing an extra 2 gallons of water into the system every time it was used caused the tributaries of the Thames to overflow.
Oh.
The Thames itself effectively becomes an open sewer. In addition, you've got cholera appearing in this country in 1831-32. And then in 1858, the year of the Great Stink, the Thames was making its presence known to the members of House of Commons. They were forced into doing something and rushed through a bill in about 18 days to build a sewer system based on Joseph Bazalgette's design, which he'd been working on for a couple of years. And Crossness is opened in 1865, a massive piece of civil engineering. And immediately had an impact on London in terms of the eradication of cholera.
What an awesome invention. You know, I mean, it's pretty amazing what humans have done in the past. And just think, there was no such thing as a sewer system, you know, like a modern sewer system and a pumping station and all this stuff. And someone just came up with this idea out of thin air, basically. And it's just really amazing, the ingenuity of humans and kind of what happened in the Victorian era, actually. I've learned that a lot of really cool stuff that we take for granted today got its start in that era of time. And they were great with building things, the artwork and stuff. It's pretty amazing what they did, honestly, what they built.
Bazalgette constructed over 1,000 miles of street sewers.
Wow.
Those street sewers fed into intercepting sewers. Huge, great underground pipes from the west to the east. The sewage flowed by gravity. So all that sewage arrives here at Crossness, deep underground. It is 12 miles downstream from London Bridge. So our 4 mighty beam engines here lift the sewage from that low level and push it into an enormous great reservoir behind our site. Twice a day, on the outgoing ebbing tide, the sewage was released on that tidal river, away from the high population of London, and in so doing, saved countless lives.
Wow. That's amazing, dude. Look how beautiful this place is. Wow. It's like you said, it's like a cathedral almost. It's incredible. Wow, man.
To touch this and to know that Victorians actually lay their hands on this, you make a connection with them. It's almost like the engines are talking to you.
Now, this place to me is just somewhere that gives you total satisfaction. You come here, you know you've achieved something. I'm learning new skills all the while. Just keeps you fully occupied and gives you something to look forward to. Yeah, we've got 4 engines: Victoria, Prince Consort, Alexandra and Albert Edward. The 2 that we are working on is Victoria and Prince Consort, and the other 2 we are just going to leave as they are in their rusty condition.
That's cool. Give the contrast
We're all
of
team.
new and old sort of.
Here, we work as teams, and it wouldn't operate if it wasn't for teamwork.
I'm primarily team Victoria, right? And so we're responsible for renovating Victoria to bring it back to its working glory. It's healthy competition. We feel that Prince Consort has been taking all the load, so I think once Victoria comes online, she'll be able to help him out. To actually get one of these up and running would take 20 years. So far, 15 years has been put into Victoria.
Wow.
That's including things like taking the pistons apart, we needle gun them, taking off layers of rust, undercoating, applying a number of layers of paint, and then eventually we'll reassemble them. But I would say we've got another 5 or 6 years. Every day I come in, I can see the little progress that we make, and that's very exciting for me.
Dude, look at this. That's incredible.
I think it's intriguing that there's so much decoration
Yeah.
around the building.
That's what I'm
It
thinking.
was isolated, it wasn't very close to the population in this area. No reason for people to come here. And it goes back to this concept of Victorian pride in what they did. It wasn't
Yeah, you can
enough
see
to
it.
build a utilitarian building.
You can see that pride, man.
Sewage. It had to look good as well.
That's so beautiful,
The
man.
decorations on these pillars do have a meaning. They are figs, and the little red dots are cenopods. And this is Victorian education and probably humour, because what are they? Laxatives.
There is actually a little carving at the top of one of the windows there, and it is the face, the portrait of Joseph Bazalgette.
It's called the Cathedral on the Marsh, for good reason, I think.
Have a look what's happening down below. They're going to pour in their sewage. It's flowing now through those clear pipes, the street sewers, into the huge white intercepting sewers. Lifting that sewage from deep down below. What's happening down this end? Tanya, come and the Trust run an education programme for little ones right up to elders, but very much at the core is hands-on learning.
Yeah, I learned more about the water systems and the sewage. It's really interesting. I think it's really cool. I really like the decorations.
Crossness was a workplace, but it was also a home. It was very remote then. The workers had to live here. There were 31 homes here, people lived here, they had their own allotments. There was a men's and a women's cricket team. They played cricket on the grassed area on top of the reservoir. And
So it was like a legit little town for, separated from London, I guess, that was, for the people that worked at this pumping station. Wow. Man, it makes sense. They needed a lot of workers back then, I'm sure.
Well, I love the stories of people who tell me my great-grandparents, they met here. That they were both living at Crossness and they met here and they got married and their children were born here. So just the whole personal aspect really brings it to life and reminds you that it wasn't just a workplace. This is the museum store where we keep the artefacts when they're not on display upstairs in the boiler house. We had an archaeological dig on site. They found some items which the workers were using. For example, these leather measuring tapes, oil cans, and even a pair of leather boots that belonged to one of the workers.
Oh, wow, dude. That's cool.
There were points during 2021 when the amount of money we had available was so low that we were contemplating closing the trust down. So the Cultural Recovery Fund has been very important to us in terms of allowing us to keep going, basically.
You can read about heritage, but until you actually become part of it, it's difficult to actually understand. I am part of something, and there's no feeling greater than that.
All right, guys. This was really, really interesting. It's kind of funny because I would love to visit something like this. A lot of people at first, when you first talk about something like this, oh, you want to go visit a old sewage pumping station? Like, why? But look at this place. It's beautiful. And I just love the history. And it's just amazing to me when I think back, to pushing 200 years ago, we'll say, 175 years ago, whatever, that they built things like this. And even before that, they built something similar, but it wasn't as advanced as, with the pumping station and whatnot. They had kind of sewer systems before, I believe, but nothing like what they built, it seems like, in the Victorian era. And I think they're right when they said that they had pride. That explains it, because I noticed that every time I see a Victorian cemetery or you see a building or a house that was built in the Victorian era, they're amazing. The design work, the architecture itself is just beautiful. And they literally had pride even in their sewer systems. And that's amazing. I wish we had that today. You know, you look around at our buildings and stuff today, and they're just very modern. I guess modern art is just not, it doesn't even come close to the, like modern art that's created as art doesn't even come close to the things that weren't even created as art in the Victorian era. Everything was beautiful in the Victorian era. And it's just amazing. And they built 1,000 miles. I think that's what they said, 1,000 miles of sewer. And so it basically emptied into the river, and then it got pumped into a reservoir of some sort over here. I'd love to learn a little bit more about this, go a little more in depth, but obviously this video was sort of short and, could only show us bits and pieces of this. Guys, this was interesting. I love this type of content. So if you have other interesting ideas that you think I'd like to explore, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Whatever it is, this is just something random that I don't think, I would probably not have thought about, oh, check out the sewage system, but yeah, it's a great idea of something to check out. And I'm glad I checked this out. And I also want to check out some other pieces about, learn about the history of the sewer system itself, not just this particular pumping station. I'd like to learn about the Great Stink. I've heard of that in 1858. I know, based off of what I heard here, I get that I understand basically the concept of what created it, sort of, but I'd like to look into the history of it a little bit more and learn really what was going on. It sounds like maybe that had to do with them creating these flush closets, if you will, and that in turn created a massive issue within the river itself, right in the middle of London. That's what I'm thinking this was, but I don't really know, but that's not really what this video is about, but hopefully we'll check that out soon. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow me in my journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. Until next time, guys, peace.